Alright, YouTube, it's time to address the recount nonsense that some people are talking about. They look to Jill Stein, number one, who's soliciting donations to get a petition going to recount the vote in, I think, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Now, these are states that Trump won. I guess the idea is to throw him back to Clinton with the shield that, we're wondering if the Green Party's votes were properly counted or some crap like that. Now, Jill Stein, during the election, actually threw her support more to Trump than Clinton. It's clear she realized that Clinton was the bigger warmonger at the time. Therefore, her actions here, which, I mean, Trump already won these states, so if she's happy about that outcome as opposed to Clinton winning, because she obviously is smart enough to know she wasn't going to win, Johnson wasn't going to win, it'd be Trump or Clinton. The only way I can explain why she would be petitioning for these donations, soliciting them to try to get this going, is that she realizes it's not actually going to happen and she's embezzling money. More power to her. She's taking it primarily from hardline Clinton partisans. She's gotten some millions of dollars as well from this. So she's going to disappear with your money. She'll probably go over to Cuba or something with it and spend the rest of her life smoking Havana cigars or something. Good on you, Jill Stein. You're defrauding the Clintonians. Show them how it feels to have their wealth redistributed a little bit. But no recount is going to swing the election. Right now, the Clintonian people, including like the more out there delusional parts of the pro-Clinton legacy media, like Salon or whatever, they keep harboring these crazy pipe dreams. Trump will get impeached. A recount will throw the election back to Clinton. Faithless electors will give it to Clinton. It's not going to happen. Trump is the president-elect. He won the election. The fact that Clinton won, technically, in the popular vote doesn't matter, because most of those excess votes are coming from states that were safely blue, places like California or places like Virginia that she herself won. Not coming from Michigan or Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania does it. I don't even think they have a paper ballot backup to recount in the first place. So there's no possibility of that swinging. It wouldn't even matter at that point, by the way, under a recount. If you recount for, say, Michigan, find out Clinton actually won it by a vote because she stuffed some extra fake ballots in there or something at the final hour, wouldn't even matter. He'd still be the winner. That's the point. And even odds are that if you recounted those votes, which might happen in Wisconsin, won't happen probably anywhere else, even if that were to occur, who's to say Trump didn't get more votes? Who's to say maybe they underestimated his support by, 100,000 votes or so? It's entirely possible. The understanding is, number one, Clinton has already conceded the race. She's already said, yes, indeed, Trump has won, encouraged others to work with him. Number two, all those around Clinton have conceded that, yes, indeed, Trump won. Number three, Trump is already forming his transition team. He's already appointing people to what will be their eventual positions. At this point, it's too late in the game to recount it and throw the election to an entirely different person who would have to make up for lost time. You would also incense literally tens of millions of generally well-armed individuals who would see it as an absolute usurping of what is not a direct democracy. It is a representative republic, in which the electors are commanded to vote one way or the other based on state popular votes. The states take supremacy in our voting system, not the federal population at large. It's a stopgap against the tyranny of the majority. And it works, largely. It worked in this election. Yes, it's good that Clinton lost. The fact that more people voted for her would mean that if we were a direct democracy, if it were one person, one vote, absolute vote tally, no electors, states don't matter, it's just a popular vote, which would be a shitty system, by the way. It doesn't work very well unless you're a microstate or unless you're doing it on a local or maybe state level. If you're doing it at a federal level with a country this large and populated with a lot of rural areas, a lot of urban areas, it doesn't work so well. Then we'd be suffering right now under Hydrogen Hillary. Well, thankfully, we have an electoral college. This is why it should stay intact. I say that not just because of my disdain for Clinton. I realize it has its quirks. I realize that it means majority doesn't always rule. That's the point. It's state-based. The popular voting takes place at the state level, and then electors are sent over to vote. No, you're not going to hammer together enough faithless electors to give the election to Hillary Clinton. It's not going to happen. It's like when a couple of Washington state electors, a few days before the election, said the state would go for Hillary, obviously, and it did. We won't vote for Hillary Clinton. That would only be relevant in the case that Hillary Clinton won by a margin of a single electoral point. That's the only way in which it would swing the election. The idea that you're going to be able to get together enough faithless electors to swing the results of this election, it's never going to happen. It's not unprecedented that we've had presidents elected who didn't win the popular vote. It's happened several times before. Nobody gives a fuck. But it would be unprecedented for a bunch of faithless electors to emerge, to give the presidency to someone who did not win under our representative republic, which is what we are, unless there was an extreme compelling reason that they should be faithless electors. Trump saying mean things during the campaign, when that always happens, Trump saying things that wouldn't even be considered abnormal 10 or 20 years ago, is not a compelling reason, I think, in the minds of any elector to switch their vote. You may see a couple of defections. Will it swing the election? Absolutely not. Will Trump immediately get impeached upon taking office? No. The Republicans that he's already tying arms with, that he's already drawing back on board because he fucking won the election, are not going to go out of their way to stymie the process further, corrupt and destroy their own party, to impeach someone only to lead to President Mike Pence, who's further to the right and more of an evangelical than Ted Cruz. It's just not going to happen. The Democrats won't even bother trying to do such a thing. It would look a little bit like when Bill Clinton was impeached, and he was. He just didn't get removed from office through a full vote because there wasn't any popular will to get rid of him. He was actually quite popular at the time. Trump right now is actually above 50% approval, which means he's protected. He doesn't have to worry about even getting impeached, let alone removed from office, unless he makes a systemic series of abysmal failures in actual policy. He hasn't even taken office yet. And these people keep harboring these crazy pipe dreams. A recount will swing the electors back to Hillary. Faithless electors will swing it back to Hillary. He'll get impeached, and somehow this means something other than Mike Pence becomes the president. In fact, I'm starting to wonder if Trump chose Mike Pence just to keep the left, in case they did win the Senate and the House back, from impeaching him and removing him from office, just to spite him, because of course then they would have Mike Pence to reckon with. It'd be a little bit of a problem. I'm beginning to believe that's why Pence is in that position. That and the fact that he's obviously willing to help out with some of the traditionally presidential workload, which is fine. People criticizing him for that, my goodness. He hasn't even taken office yet, and already you have 1,000 complaints about what he's doing. At least do what even Fox was willing to do after Obama won, and at least let off him until he gets a chance to be inaugurated. I would think that would be more fair. But it's funny to watch Jill Stein in a very opportunistic manner, for someone who's an avowed socialist, defrauding millions of dollars out of Clinton's fans. I wish I had thought of this. I could have made a petition. Maybe I'd be a millionaire right now. I wish I had thought of it first. Maybe there's still time for somebody make a fake petition on there, and I gave you the idea you better be paying up. I'm just joking. I would never encourage you to defraud millions of Clinton fans, but we have seen they are dumb enough to vote for a candidate who really wanted to start several wars. They're dumb enough to vote for a candidate who clearly wasn't going to win. They're dumb enough to vote for a candidate at admittedly low levels in some areas, who really wasn't a progressive, doesn't care about anybody but herself. So yeah, they might fall hook, line, and sinker for such a thing. They certainly fell for it with Jill Stein. Jill Stein, hippie grandma, half these people blame her for losing the election for Clinton right now, and yet she's managing to get millions of dollars in donations from some of the Bernie bro crowd, and even some of the later Hillary fans. She's actually managing to get millions of dollars from them for a recount that in all likelihood won't even happen. It's very funny. I think they missed the filing deadline for even Wisconsin, if I remember correctly. Now, it's not going to matter. If they recounted, they'll probably find Trump is further ahead in some of these states. You'd have to swing more than just one of them over the Clinton camp in order to actually give her the election anyway. Nobody's even talking about a recount in like North Carolina or something like that, or Arizona or something, because they know it's a lost cause. No, they're gobbling up money. More power to her. Go get yourself a solid gold sandwich or something like you've always wanted, you crazy corporatist. That's about all. Peace out.